Hi there, this is Dawn. Welcome to my art room and welcome to my YouTube channel. In the video that I've prepared for today is about creating a hexagon bowl with a little flip up lid. I've done sashiko embroidery on each one of the panels that during the video you'll see me do. Some I've used some templates that I have and some I've created myself, but I thought this is just a nice little project. It's a bit floppy, but it's still a nice little bag to have sitting around with my other bits and pieces. I've got a couple of other projects that I'll continue with hexagons, but if you'd like to hang around and see me make this, that'll be lovely. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, here's what I've done so far. I will have shared, hopefully before this, and hopefully I get my video editing sorted. Last time I didn't do a very good job, but anyway, this time I'm hoping. All right, so what I've done is, the sashiko embroidery on all of these. These are using the templates that I have, that I own, and was able to use to create these some of these, but I only own 4. And so I bought this piece of fabric when we were in Japan, and pity I didn't buy it in blue, or I would have used it. But anyway, so what I've done is I've drawn it out myself. It's really hard to do. I admire their ability and their technical expertise. I'll come back to that though in 2 seconds. I just thought I'd share something with you about today. I've been stitching away here for a couple of days doing this, but right now, here where I live, it's 40 degrees outside. Now, it's not in the house, I can tell you. The air conditioner is on. It's 10 to 4 in the afternoon. Yep, it's gonna stay 40 degrees for a bit longer yet. I don't really know what time that looks like it is. 38, sunset, it's still gonna be 34 degrees. I know, it's hot one here, and sadly that translates to, potential bushfire. So I just thought that I would show you where we are. We have this app, maybe other countries do, and whether or not, I don't know what the rest of Australia does. Anyway, this is where we live, in Victoria, okay? If I keep going out, so that's us here. This is miles away. This is like 5 hours drive. We'd have to get there. We got to go all the way around here, or I think there's a ferry. But anyway, this is the devastation. This is the devastating area. This is all holidays area. It's all along the coastline here. This is get out. You haven't got any more time. You've got to get, or you might not be able to get out even. The little symbols usually tell us. So what happened to that symbol? Where did it go? Here, this one. It says evacuate immediately. So sorry, I was just trying to work out where to put that. It's a little bit blurry. Oh yeah, there you go. So that's where that is. These ones are, some of them are watch and act. The conditions are changing. The worst thing was that sort of like a week ago they had terrible flood. The caravan parks got flooded. They said, thank goodness it happened in the daytime, or all the campers that could have been devastating. There's a little bit more up here, but there's a lot of bush. This is mountain, you know, when you come in from the coast, it's bush. You know, I mean, there's roads, but it's forest area. Okay, the main towns are sort of on the outskirts of that. Horrible. Just thought I'd, you know, share that. You know, these little ones here, stay advised. This is sort of like, you know, it gives you a bit more information as to about, you know, as to what you need to do about that. I'm trying to get out of it so I can go back to you. Cool. All right, so this is sort of northern Victoria up here. This is alpine area where there's a bit more fire, but we're down here where this little blue dot is. This is us. This is a hay shed that's on fire. Still not a great thing, but that it's farmland, and it's a lot of open flat farmland, sort of that Lang. That's from us, that's about a half an hour drive. Nice little antique shop there. Yeah, cool. Anyway, I just thought you might like to see what we keep an eye on, what affects us. This is another area up here again, National Forest mountain area. Yep, outside of, you know, a long way from us, but people are still majorly affected by them. Cool. 40 degrees. Yikes. There we go. I keep my on there. You can designate areas that you want, you know, to be your watch zone, that was that circle, you know, that grey circle. And what I do, my daughter's sort of like, where is she? She's up here. So I have another that keeps, because there's a lot of bush between her and me. So my son's kind of like over here, coming back into town. So it's built up here. He's still near the Dandenong Ranges, which is, you know, potentially isn't great. Often we've seen terrible devastation in that area, but you know, this is where those shocking fires were. Black Saturday and today are the same conditions. So the Black Saturday fires went all across this area, like wiped out Marysville. There was nothing left. Same conditions today, so we don't want that to happen, and this isn't far from it. Cool. Just thought you might like a bit of that general information. All right, here I am. I'm going to keep stitching. So I've measured this all out with an iron out pen, and I'm keeping this diagram here because while there are still some lines partially visible, like with this pen you can, you know, there's a rubber on the end and you can rub out some bits, but it doesn't take them out really well. You know, it helps to sort of blur the line, if you like. Yep, that's where the star is. But anyway, I have got another video if you want to see a little bit more of, I don't need a double, not sashiko, embroidery, but it's about doing a continuous line and then following the pattern when the line bends. So like for these ones, it'll be come down here, go across here, come down, then go back the opposite way. All right. For now I'm doing straight across lines. So yeah, it took me a little while to draw it out. I was like, oh, I can't believe that was like, you know, well, I mean, it's not impossible to do. It's a slightly different probably size, but anyway, I'm following along here. Cool. All right, when I've finished the stitching and I'm ready to do the next bit, I'll come back to you and we'll see where the temperature's at. Cool. All right, I hope wherever you are that you're doing okay. I'll be back in a minute. Yep, 41 degrees. I can't believe that it's 41 degrees. I don't even know when I last knew that it had been 41 degrees. We're not outside. It's horrible. It's saying that it's not going to cool down till, I don't know. It's still going to be 35 degrees at 8 o'clock tonight. There we go. It's 20 to 6. It's cold ham and salad for tea tonight. There's no cooking. But the air conditioner's going and it's cool and we're okay. We're all good. Everybody I know is all good. Well, so far I've not heard anything different, and so everybody that I know is and love is good for now. My son is a crazy one. He might be out walking. He's on a health kick. I told him he was mad, but anyway, everybody else is either swimming or in front of an AC. Right. You know, I don't know where my head was when I did this, because every other piece I've backed with the palum to give it some, you know, wadding. Oh, forgot this one. Just looking at that stitch there, needs to be pulled in a bit. Yeah, so I'm going to back this bit. So this is the lining, if you like, which is what I'm doing. So this is the inside, and I'm going to cut the outside. I've not cut them from a base pattern. I've created my own because I've embroidered them. I want them to, you know, to fit. So what I'm doing is I'm adding an inch around. That's how I'm cutting them. Just got this bit of soap chalk. Just wipes off. The pen that I was using for the pattern is a heat erasable one, and it's gone, so gone for now anyway. Hopefully, I've not had it, you know, lots of people, I've heard people say it comes back. I've not had that experience, but you know, 41 degrees, it doesn't get real cold here. It gets cold, it just doesn't, you know, we don't freeze and we don't get snow and any of those things. We get cold, but that's all. So possibly that's the issue, is that we're not cold enough for it to come back. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna just so I added an inch because I'm folding it over half an inch and then folding it over the other half an inch. Interesting, I probably could have come out a bit further there. I, you know, should have maybe moved this over, but it's enough to give me what I want. Oh, so did you hear that little beep beep beep? That's the alert that we get. That's the notification on that, you know, on that app that tells me that there's an issue. So what it's saying is there's one incident, and all right, hold on, let me see if I can find the map. Yeah. Oh, here. That's between me and my mum. My mum is in Bunyip. That is, it's on the highway. All right, so it tells us that there's a fire there on the that's like the main highway, freeway coming from Melbourne to here. Yep. You know what this is? This is just some idiot that throws his cigarette butt out the car window. yeah, that's what makes that happen, you know. It's like, really, how do you get a fire on a highway? You know, right near this grassed up area. Crazy. Anyway, that's what that app does. So now you know. We can all be crabby about stupid idiots in the world that just don't think about anybody but themselves. All right, cut this one out. It's a little bit of a rant and a rave, because that's how it happens. People just thoughtless. You know, we drove down a freeway. This is a highway that we have. It starts off freeway, becomes a highway. But we were driving down a freeway closer to Melbourne one time, and I just said to Paul, God, that looks like there's a bit of smoke over there. Blow me down. You know, right on the side of the road. There's nothing there but grass and a fire. So anyway, we called it in. But, you know, we wouldn't have been the only ones. It's just, my point is that there's no other way that it could have started. Thoughtless people. All right, so I'm going to put the wadding on this side because I forgot to put it on this side. All right, I've got the irons going over here beside me. All right. How annoying that I did that, but I don't know why I did that. This my Japanese yarn dyed fabric's really hard to see which side's the wrong side. I'm here. Do you want to look at something nice while I iron? It's going to take me a couple of seconds, all right? Just need to attach. I'm here. I'm still here. I haven't gone anywhere. I'm still here. Just getting rid of stuff. Whining. Still thinking about that fire on the highway. Like, really? All right. Every other thing has been the reverse. I've just used the normal Vilene stiffening, which is only a thin one. Where is a bit of it? Can I show you a bit of it? Yeah, it's just thin like that. It's got a sticky back. That's been going on my lining, every other one but this one. And then the Pelham's been going on the embroidered one, which gives you a little bit of yeah, 41 degrees. No one's brain's working properly today. All right, so I'm just going to go by my eye. I could draw around it. I'm not. All right, fold in to the edge of that, and then double it over again. All right, so it's kind of like half inch, because remember we did it by the inch. Turn it round, make sure your bits are tucked in, fold, fold. This might have to be the lid of the bowl, I think, because it's totally different to the rest. Crazy woman. I don't know where my head was when I was doing that. I was so busy, you know, drawing out the pattern and working out how to do that myself. All right, folding, folding. Anyway, by now you'll have seen the finished product, so Hopefully it looks all right because it's not finished yet. So I just picked out 12 different pieces of fabric. 6 different pieces of fabric. 8 actually, because I've got a bottom of this bowl and a lid. So yeah, so 8 different pieces. And so I've got one that I embroider on and one that I've lined, and then I've alternated it around because that's just the fabric that I had. Normally it's not quite so thick to fold over. Fancy picking this one to show you how to do it. Craziness. All right, I'm gonna show you this bit and then I'm gonna stop and come back. All right, don't need a bit of thread yet. I've just picked the same thread to do this with. All the girls that are doing the hexagons on YouTube, Create and Craft with Christine, Christy from Sew Bits, and Sally from Dotty B, have all shown this method of doing it's like a quilt as you go. So we've got the hexagon that's got a backing and an edging, and it's all ready to sew together, and that will be the finished product. All right, I'm just folding my corners over. I'm going into the fold of that and then down into the fabric, none of which you can see because the thread is a match. Well, it's close enough to a match. So yeah, a bit harder for you to see. So this is now a hexagon. So I've got 2, 4, 5. Good, that's my 6 hexagons that go around the bowl. And then I need to, so I've got one more to fit in here. I've got a base one to do, and I've got a top one. Well, this is going to be actually that one that goes in there. So I need a base and then a top. So yeah, they're the next couple of bits that I need to do before we put this bowl together. Good. All right, so as you can see, it's just kind of like a blind hemming stitch. So in through the fold of the fold over and in through the base, and just keep trekking along until you've gone all the way around. A bit like a binding on a normal quilt, except we're doing this all in one hit. Cool. All right, hopefully you could see that all right. Harder to see when the thread matches, but yeah, like I said, let me come a bit closer till you, it'll focus in through the, through the fold, and then in through the base, and then pull it up tight, and that holds it all in so you can't see where I've been. Good. I'll be back. I thought I'd come back and show you how I'm creating my own pattern. This one was a little trickier. So I have my basic template. Like this is the shape of my hexagon, and this is a pattern that I bought pre-printed. And so I've just sort of placed it on here in where where it makes sense. So I've got this line going here and this line going here. These lines are 1.5 inches apart, and these ones are 1.5 inches apart. These ones I could work out fairly easily, and then so the one that goes this line here, I had you know, something to work from. The next one I don't. There's nowhere. So what I'm looking at now is this cross line here, and I can't find anywhere. So the only place that I can work out a measurement from is from here to here, which is 1 inch there. Well, we're going to make it 1 inch here. All right. I just thought some people might go, I don't even know how you did that. And, you know, there's times when I don't know how I do it either. All right, so it's the inch is going to be from this outside corner to here, because we want that, this pen goes on, but then it doesn't. Okay. And then all right, so what we've got to do is have all right, just trying to find some points that will give me a guide. All right, so this one, can't show you everything. So I went in 1 inch here, and then I measured 1 inch from here to here. Oh no, you can't see. So I came in 1 inch to here, made that mark. Then I went 1 inch from here to here to make that mark. Once you've got sort of like 2 marks to make, you're right to go. All right, so that's going to be 1 inch there. So that's going to go there. Oh, 1 inch or 1.5 inches? Oh, bother. It's a flippin' 1.5 inches. All right, lucky the iron's right here. Silly. All right. 1.5 inches. Yes, it's 1.5 inches. Oh, goodness, that was lucky I saw that. 1.5 inches. You know, it was the cross that I thought that didn't look right. All right, let's see if I can get rid of this funny mark here. I didn't want to put the iron on it everywhere. You know, what I wasn't getting were these little triangles. 1.5 inches here. 1.5 inches. All right, and that'll be about right. Done, I think. Or needs to be a bit straighter. All right. There's 1.5 inches. Still, I've got another mark here that I can get in. Some of it will be covered by the hem, but I'd rather have it than not have it. All right, it should just kind of like appear before your eyes. Yes, it is. It is appearing before your eyes. Cool. All right, I'll go back and stitch that. I just wanted to show you how I went about from a pattern here that I too hard to trace to be able to get it on, and then so because the Japanese are so mathematical, made it easy for me. Not that maths was ever. I was laughing with a friend going, my maths teacher would be so impressed. In fact, she'd be going, not the girl I remember from school. I don't know where my needle is. Is it this one? No. It's got to be here somewhere. All right, that's that one. Come on. Where are you? All right, I'll be back. Okay, we're on the last legs and it's the next day. So yesterday was our day of days. But I thought I'd better come back and share with you. So I think it was sort of, we started to drop in temperature about 9 o'clock last night. Today it is 25 now. They're predicting about 29 to be our highest, but yeah, it's not that yet. The fire situation here, we're all safe. My heart goes out to the people across the state who have had their lives devastated. I don't know if we've got any stitching buddies in those areas. I'm not sure. I guess we will hear eventually. But my heart goes out to those people that have, been affected by those fires, but nothing's changed in our immediate area. The little one in the hay shed, that's still hanging in there. The one that was on the highway, that got dealt with straight up, so that was good. Cool. Okay, all right, just so that's enough of weather reports. And got all the doors open today and the fan going just to sort of try and blow out the hot air out of the house. It was a very hot night, but we slept all right, so that's okay. I had the bedroom window open and the wind was blowing in, and the only thing we've got to worry about now is if we get any lightning storms, because everything will have crisped up nicely out there in the bush. So what I'm doing, the last of these, this is going to be the base. I haven't put any embroidery on this, but what I did do with all of them is I've done just some quilting along that seam line just to hold all the layers together. They pressed up quite nicely, quite flat. Yeah, so then I'll start putting this bowl together. I'm going to show you how I'm going to go about that. It'll be another little bit of a stop and start. That's all right. Yes, you can probably hear that fan going. It's just to keep the air moving because it's quite still outside. There's no wind, but it's warm. Okay, so my plan now is to have this on the bottom, but this is going to be the inside of the bowl. This is the outside, just for a bit of interest when you look inside the bowl. But these are all going on the outside, all of the embroidered ones. So I don't know how much of this you're going to be able to see. So I'm going to go, this I've decided is the only non-geometric with the little dragonflies on it. Every other one has got a geometric design on it, and so I'm just going to use those as the outside edges, randomly picking them up, not looking too much at them. Okay, so they all kind of match because they're all the same fabrics, except that one. Well, I didn't, when I picked them out of my collection of fabrics, I didn't realise how much more purple that one was. But anyway, that's all right. It's okay. They'll all go together. Good. All right, that's the layout, bottom, sides. All right, and then this will be the top later. Not doing that one just yet. All right, so in order to join these, what I'm going to find out is how accurate they are, because while I had the base, the pattern for the embroidered piece, I cut out, you know, I had a shape, pattern shape that I traced around. The outside I didn't, because I wanted to have it fit. In hindsight, might not have been my best decision, but we're just gonna wait and see what happens. Okay, so this is just joining them the same way that you will have seen other pieces joined. So from corner to corner, I'm just going to bury the knot in there somewhere, and I'm going to use a ladder stitch so that we can adjust it as we go. I might have to trim that bit off, that little bit of thread there. So from one side, go straight across to the other, and then go down in that fold, hopefully. Do you need to come a wee bit closer? Let me see. Let's try there. I'll keep my eye on the screen and make sure that I don't lose you. Yeah, I'm just going to cut that bit of thread off in a minute. Straight across, so where the thread came out, straight across, and just a small amount, not too far, but with each stitch you can tighten it, and it will eventually hide all the stitches. You won't see them. This was a clever little a little thing that I saw, and just worked out that I don't have a pattern for it, which is why I can't give you one. Just showing you how I'm working it out. Yep. It's just using the hexagons in a different way. Susanna's got another way that she's been doing hers. Susanna from Vintage Blend Studio, she's putting hers together in a quilt, using with an ABC theme. So each of her blocks has a letter that she's embroidered, and then she's added something to depict that letter in either her own embroideries or some vintage embroideries that she's found. So yeah, we've all got something different to add. Corinne from To Be Loved Treasures by Corinne did a full-on quilt last year with her hexes. She got very involved in creating hexes in that sort of grandma's garden flower design, with with the colours spreading out across the quilt, and then black and white as borders. Looked fantastic laid out. They're a bit addictive. And after this I'll have another little project that I'll another two actually I've got up my sleeve. So if you're happy with hexagons, so there you can see that join helps it to move whichever way you really want it to. Cool. All right, and so the next one will go on the same way. So just making sure that they meet, I'm doing it this way. Yep, my needle. I'll do one more. as soon as I saw these videos coming up on YouTube, I was like, oh, you know, I really wanted to keep going with hexagons, so it's a good excuse. All right, straight across, just joining it that way. I could probably pull it a little tighter. I can see that I've got a little bit of a gap here, not a huge one. I'm just gonna give it another stitch there, just to hold those corners in. Give it a little bit of a tug. You could use thicker thread if you want to make a feature of it. I've decided not to. I've decided that it's just going to be, you're not going to see the thread. I think the polyester sewing thread is perfectly okay to use. It's it's a project that I'm hoping I can use to keep my smaller templates and papers in. Just something fun have on the bench. Oh, that fan's making a noise today. I don't know why it does that. It's just funny. It doesn't do it all the time. Some weird reason. It went flat out yesterday, and I can probably turn it off in a minute. It's sort of helped circulate the air a bit, but I've got all the doors open and a couple of windows just to try and get a bit of fresh air in. After a hot day, when you close everything up and it becomes quite airless. Good. Okay, all right, I'm going to keep going. When I've got all 6 on, I'll come up, come back, and come up, I'll come back and share with you the next little bit of the process. Cool. All right, I'll be back. Cool. Well, I'm nearly done. I just thought I'd come back on and show you the mechanics of this. So I've done all of them the same way. So they're attached first to the base piece. Every hexagon on its own is attached. And then what I've done then is folded them up and joined them to each other. And so just here, I'm going to join this one to here, down this side. I noticed there's a bit of a gap in here, so I'm just going to maybe tighten that up with another stitch. I just, when I was folding it, I saw, and I do a ladder stitch because, you know, that's what I do. You could just do an overcast stitch. That would work just as well, just as, you know, it would have the same, do the same job. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, as the days worn on, it's got warmer and warmer today. I've had to shut everything up and put some cooling on because I was doing some rearranging in the kitchen cupboards. You know, the cupboard that has all the plastic stuff in it? Oh my goodness, I don't know what happens. It just like, it multiplies or it does some weird thing. So then you can't shut it. So, or it falls out every time you open the door. So I've decided that it's not going to be in a cupboard anymore. It's going to be in one of the kitchen drawers. I've got big drawers that I, you know, can fit decent things in. They're not little cutlery ones. And one of them had baking tins in it that, you know, you cook your cake or your slice or your whatever. Don't do that very often. In saying that, I made very delicious muffins, pretend muffins, for lunch today. And I used the muffin tin. And which actually started me to tidy it up, because I thought, right, I've started to take something out. I'm going to keep going. So while they were cooking, I was stood there rearranging the plastics. But of course, that'll probably challenge us all to remember how where everything goes. That's all right. Hopefully, we will remember. So yeah, so that I was doing that, and I think just having the oven on got hotter and hotter. Cool. Yes, I made these nice little muffins that were no flour. So they were shredded up sweet potato, some grated cheese. It should have been mozzarella and I didn't have any. I just had cheddar, never mind. And then it wanted fresh chives, which I didn't have, but I had fresh spring onions. So I went, all right, I can do that. Mixed it all up, so no liquid. And then give the muffin tray a light spray. I use olive oil in I bought my own spray bottle, so I'm using my own olive oil. Well, my own, I didn't do it, I bought it. But yeah, not in a pressure pack can. I don't like what it does to the baking tins and trays, but anyway, that's all right. So yeah, so sprayed the muffin tin, then scooped some, a decent amount of the mix into the tray, into each, and then created like I hollowed it out in the middle, so that it made like a cup shape. Gosh, can't even tell you. So, I just, packed the stuff around the sides and in the base. Baked that for about 15 minutes. And then, in the meantime, mix up sort of like a quiche mix of, I had eggs and milk. You could put the egg in whole without any of that, but I decided that I didn't want to do that. I actually had some cream in the fridge that I thought, well, I'll just put a dollop of that in, and mixed it all up, whisked it all up. You didn't have to put any of that in, you could have just put the egg in, but I thought, I had it in the fridge, might as well use it, it's silly to let things go to waste. Anyway, then you pour that into once the hash brown, well, it's like a hash brown mix, but it's done with sweet potato. Once that comes out of the oven, you pour in the egg mix and give it about another 7 or 8 minutes, just till the egg sets, really, it puffs up. Oh, yum. Ooh. Were they ever delicious? Very nice. Cool. All right. So I went up this side of the hexagon, up this side, and then up that side. So then I've got the top, the bottom, and the other two sides. I'm just going to finish off this thread, tie it off, and then we'll do the other side. And the lid, and I'm done. And plenty big enough for all my little hexagon templates and the paper ones, and it could become, a workbox, a hexagon workbox as well. That's what I want to do. Plenty big enough. It reminded me, when I saw it, it reminded me of something from my childhood. I think we had sort of like grandmothers, I did, that made things out of like old Christmas cards and birthday cards, and then they covered them in like acetate. I don't know where they got that from. Oh, I know, probably. You know, men's shirts used to come in boxes. Yes, you know, showing my age. They used to come in boxes with a acetate sort of like cover on at the top. Probably some still do, the posher ones. The rest just come on off the coat hanger now. Yeah, they might have used that. Oh, I don't know where they got it from. And then they either stitched it together or crocheted it together, and it made these little containers like this. And when I saw it, I thought, gosh, I just so remember them. Just remind, but I'm doing mine in fabric, so it's not got a. You could stiffen it. It could be, you could put pelmet violin in it and make it firmer, but I didn't think that I really needed to do that. Happy with it the way it is. Cool, nearly done. Nearly done. All right, just burying the knot wherever I can find a place to bury it. Sometimes in these seams, these fold overs, just so that it's tucked safely in there. There's a few other people around that have been using hexagons and embroidery. I noticed Jennifer Clouston does. She just did a tote bag with using hexagons that she'd embroidered, done them in men's wool suiting. That was gorgeous. I was smiling to myself when I was watching her and I was doing this. I thought, oh gosh, we're all sort of like all tuned into each other. Who else does hexagons? Somebody else that I remember seeing. Oh, maybe Cecile. She's a lovely French girl. Oh, I love her stuff. Love her stuff. She, you know, does these gorgeous pops of neon colour that I love. Her videos are all in French, and unfortunately I don't understand French. Oh, you know, half a dozen words that I've remembered from school, you know, like window and hello and goodbye, and yeah, not too many things. So, but I just like watching her because she talks in French through it, and I'm happy to watch what she does. She does gorgeous things. Yeah, she does some hexagons, I think. I actually would have to go back and have a look at that. You know, I don't know. Possibly. Cecile. I'll add all of these people that do hexagons in my, you know, my description box. And then if you've got a hexagon crave like I have lately, you can go and see a few other people that have done them or doing them. I noticed that Tia from Calm Creations, she started doing something with hexagons as well. Yep, it's all the craze. All the craze. Right, every time I get to a sort of a corner of this corner here, I just put an extra couple of little stitches, because if there's going to be anywhere that's going to have a little bit of stress on it, it'll be there, those corners. Well, you know, I'm pretty chuffed at, you know, mostly they're the same size, so that's good, given that I cut them out. But I did start with a base. The piece that I embroidered was traced around a template, so technically it should have been okay, but you can never be very sure when you then start fiddling around with it yourself. And I did, because I added the lining fabric was, I cut out according to whatever the size of the piece was that I was doing at the time, and some had more embroidery on than others. So, you know, really, it could have gone, they could have maybe not matched up, but the fabric's all the same weight. It's the Japanese yarn dyed fabrics that I bought when I was in Japan. So they're not your normal patchwork, you know, weight of fabric. They're not linen. They're just thicker than your normal patchwork cotton, because they're woven. They're not printed. The design is the thread colour, and it's they're woven like that. All right, when I get to those, another peek here, a couple of extra stitches, little just overcast ones, just to make sure that it stays there. And then I just track backwards with my thread, just bury the end of it, really. All right, cool. There we go. There's the thing. Now you could leave it like that. You don't have to put a lid on it. When you want to put it away, you can just flatten it. But I want it to stand up, so it's not very deep. You know, maybe my hand height here. I was just looking to see if I could see all my little, how do I got them in? No, can't see it. It's all right. I'm gonna add the lid now. So this is that's what it's gonna look like there. I'm going to attach it here the same way. You could put a button on it and a loop on it, and I might. Not right now. I don't know if I have a button in my head that I want to use, so I can't think of where there is a button that I particularly want to use. I didn't tie that knot off. I might get a longer bit. Thread. Yes, I didn't have a big enough knot. It just went through the fabric. Thin machine thread. That doesn't make a very big knot. That one's just like a squibbly one now. I'll just go in here somewhere. Yep. In through there. And it buries itself in. So this now has got the two right sides together. Before it was two wrong sides together. Now I'm doing two right sides together. I think Tia is going to make, what's she going to make? Oh, I know, a rice bag with her hexagons. Cool. All right. Lots of good ideas. When my daughter was pregnant with her first child, who's 10 now, I crocheted a whole lot of granny squares. I'd seen you know, like the old-fashioned string bag that you take to the grocer's, supermarket, whatever market. And I saw this one, quite liked the look of it, and crocheted it for her. I don't know where it is. I haven't seen her use it for ages. I suppose she's still got it. She doesn't chuck things away. Just haven't seen it for a while. But it was all, well, it wasn't hexagons, it was squares, but you turned them on their point. And so created a bag with them that way, on the point. Yes, they weren't hexagons, I just realised that. Didn't crochet hexagons, crocheted granny squares. It's looking a bit overcast outside. I don't know whether it's gonna we're gonna get a bit of rain. It's not predicted, but it's looking quite overcast out there. Current weather report. Nearly done. Oh, this wasn't a 5-minute job because I embroidered every square. And so while the embroidery is quite simple, it's not complicated embroidery. Yeah, I don't know, it's probably, oh, I don't know, this is like day 3, I suppose, of me doing it. Yeah, because I did it for a day before I videoed. Yeah, I had quite a few done. I was trying to think myself then what I did do. I'm going to go back all the way and like redo it, only because it's the lid, and so I just think it will, you know, be flipped open and closed. It'll just take a bit more, it'll get a bit more activity than the bowl. I think it'll look good on my bench. I've got my little fabric pouch that I made with all of the Japanese fabrics to store them in, and they'll look good together. And this can sit alongside it, in amongst everything else, but you know, these two look good to sit together. You could have it as a little sewing bag, you could have it as a little takeaway thing. And the next 2 projects that I want to share with you will make sense. It's to add to it. Alright, I think I'm done. I think I've done. It's sewn on now within an inch of its life. It's not going anywhere. Alright, sorted. But you could embellish yours however you want. It's actually quite, you know, I can get both my hands in there. It's quite a decent size. So this hexagon was this one, which is 3.5 inches that way. So that was the size that that's how you measure it if you're getting a hexagon. To know what size it is, it's those edges there, 3.5 inches. It's made quite a decent thing. Cool. All right, well, you know, that was something another little bit different. Hope you enjoyed watching that. I had fun making it. I like it. I think it's going to look good on my cabinet with my other bits and pieces. All right, I'll be back soon with another little project. Take care. Bye for now.